Hey guys, today's topic of the video is pretty diverse, and it is compressing a wide range of topics like irony, cynicism, satire, parody, and sarcasm, and these all lie in the same meaning. So that I put these all in a single video to because many people just substitute their concepts and meanings and their words, and they just keep switching them in one another's place, but it's not always true and correct. So that's why I have made a video on that. So in this video we'll be discussing the irony, cynicism, satire, parody, and sarcasm. But before starting, I will suggest you to subscribe to this channel and also follow us on Instagram so that you can get all the literary updates from there. So starting with the word irony, what is irony? Irony is a figure of speech in which what is said is opposite to what is intended. There is a difference between the surface meaning. So there is a difference between surface meaning of something that is said and underlying meaning of what is said. So there is always two kind of meanings of one word or one sentence when it comes to irony. It can also be a difference between what might be expected to happen but what actually occurs. Alright, so this is another difference. So Cicero refers to irony as Cicero. He's an orator. He's a great orator ever produced, and he's from Roman history, saying that he says saying one thing and meaning another. It's irony. There is always a contrast between appearance and reality in irony. Irony comes from Greek word iron. So iron, I'm pronouncing it, which itself derives from ironia, meanings dissembling. For example, in Pride and Prejudice, the use of irony is evident in the start of the novel. It's the first line of the novel. In the first line of the novel, it is said by Jane Austen that it is truth universally acknowledged that a single man is possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Isn't it irony? Types of irony: situational irony, dramatic irony, verbal irony, Socratic irony, cosmic irony, historical irony. Describing all these: situational irony in a situation in which the outcome is very different from what was expected. Dramatic irony occurs when the audience has more information than one or more characters in a work of literature. Verbal irony is when a character says one thing but means the opposite. Socratic irony is when you pretend to be ignorant to expose the ignorance or inconsistency of someone else. Cosmic irony is when irony is called irony of fate, and it is well equipped. It is well used in Greek plays like Oedipus the Rex. Oedipus the Tyrant is his Greek name, and it occurs when a higher power like God, fate, or the universe intervenes to create a ironic situation. Or in Aristophanes, the birds. Or in Euripides, it's Medea. Historical irony relates to real events that happens that when what is seen in retrospect had vastly different outcomes to predict at the time. So what is cynicism? Many people don't know the word of cynicism, and they just using cynicism in place of satire and satire for cynicism. So it's not like that. Cynicism is a dark attitude toward the world, especially towards human beings. This term usually actually belongs to classical philosophy and Socrates, but now it is broadly used in literature too. It is an attitude of suspicion where you believe that future is bleak and the people are acting only out of their self-interest. For example, in Picture of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde gives an example of cynicism. Nowadays, people know the price of everything and the value of nothing. Many characters in literature and life are cynics, and it is a mystery why we are so interested in cynical characters. There must be a reason that they are realistic. Of course, the real world is full of sorts of cynics, and so cynical characters are very believable. So, but these characters are so complex, which is important for compelling characters. Cynics have many layers to them, and this makes them interesting and less predictable to reader. Perhaps the deepest reason, though, is psychological. Cynical characters say that we are all thinking deep down. They give voice to negative emotion like anarchy and suspicion that we try to suppress in order to function in society. For example, Joker in Joker movie. And then when we say that, when we see that cynical characters can be successful, respected and honorable, we become a little more at home with our own dark side. So what is satire? Satire is a use of humor, irony, exaggeration or ridicule to expose and criticize people's stupidity or vices. Satire is used for some main purposes like making fun of a person or idea or institution, or its purpose is not just to entertain but also to make to people inform and make people think. It is the oldest form of social commentary, and it is used to mention the injustices and problems in their society. Satirists hold a mirror to the flaws of society and helping people think critically about things they might otherwise just have taken for granted. For example, the 18th century, the Enlightenments were great satirists. For example, you see Ben Jonson and the age of Johnson and the age of Dryden, after Dryden. So they were great satires. And you see the example of who is that famous satire, famous novel, The Gulliver's Travel by Jonathan Swift. It's a satire on English politics. Where is the English politics going? Where is their country going between Tories and Whigs? So, for example, so moving towards the example on the slide. So, Shakespeare's comedy satirized the politics and the philosophy of this days. Malvolio on Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, for example, satirized both the Puritan ethos they are growing in Shakespeare's London and the class of upwardly mobile patronage seeker of which Shakespeare himself was a member. Moving towards the example of satire, Horatian Satire, Juvenalian Satire and Menippean Satire. So I'm moving towards the Horatian Satire, which has come from a Roman satirist, Horace. He has written his famous Ars Poetica, the art of poetry, and it makes fun of the things in a soft or even loving manner. Juvenalian satire is named after the great Roman satirist Juvenal, and it is the strongest type of satire, and it's a harsh kind of satire. Used to point out the vices and error in a society using strong irony and sarcasm. Political satire is its perfect example, like in Gulliver Travel. Menippean satire is a name after the Greek parodist Menippus. Menippean satire criticizes the mindset and attitude of people rather than societal norms. It attacks a more general target. And for example, in religious satire, it attacks sacred figures or religious beliefs. So what is parody? We are coming nearly to an end. So parody is the last topic of this video. Yes, sarcasm is left. So parody imitates. This is the imitation of another author, style or genre of literature for the purpose of creating a humorous effect for the audience or reader. Parodies often imply the use of satires within them. Parodies allow for writers to make comments regarding other types of writings or authors in comedic manner, rather than simply stating their opinions. By making a parody, the author is able to creatively display his opinions. So the main purpose of parody is to imitate and to make fun and comment on a piece of literature. So parody is always a copy of some original piece of work. So there is also always a parody of, so parody is a copy. So sarcasm is the last topic. Sarcasm generally takes the form of ironic remark and is intended to mock or satirize something. Sarcasm can convey a writer or character's true feeling of frustration, anger, even derision, thought but presence of humor and wording that is inconsistent with what is intended. So verbal irony is also called sarcasm. For example, in his novel John Green, there's a novel by John Green, Total All the Ways Down, includes a satirist remark, which is, yes, well, in that respect and many others, American high schools do rather resemble prisons. And that reminds me of another remark made by Bertrand Russell towards the schools, like they are not educating people, they are just like it says something like that. So it's also a sarcasm. So thanks for watching. I hope you will like or dislike this video. Also comment in the comment box for further inquiry, and do subscribe to this channel and also follow us on Instagram. Thank you.